long day, gentlemen. And welcome back to the Dynasty Rewind Week 8 Waiver Wire Show. Can you believe it? The season's almost halfway over. It is going by in a blur, but it's going to be great. Week 7 was sleek. Will Week 8 be fleek? Nate, you're waiting for that. Find out now on the Dynasty Rewind Waiver Wire Show.
You are now listening to the Dynasty Rewind.
All right, so we are back. It's week 8. Hopefully your teams are in playoff contention. They should be if you're listening to this podcast. If not, that's your own fault, not mine. But before we get into it, I want to welcome back our crew. As always, we got Porkman. How's it going, Porkman?
Great. Just blessed to be back on a Tuesday for another waiver show.
What does your shirt say? Some sort of family vacation.
Yeah, 2014 family vacation.
Yo, that's a family vacation shirt.
People actually do that.
Oh my!
6 years ago.
I make fun of those people at Disneyland.
So when we do the expo next year, I'm going to get an expo bound T-shirt for the crew. So it's going to be a whole thing. Joining us, we got Nate. We got Nate Christian joining us from somewhere. I don't know where you are most of the time, but you're here. So how's it going, Nate?
I'm here and I'm at my in-laws, and they don't really have alcohol here. So to pay up my bet, I'm going to be drinking cooking wine tonight. So cheers.
A little bit of the cooking sacrament tonight. Nate Christian, always bringing the heat. And joining us, I should have asked how to say your last name before the show. We got Steven Toroni. Is that correct?
Perfect. You did it, man.
All right. That's perfect. So, Steven, before we get started, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself and what you do?
I'm the host of The Hot Take. So if you guys have seen me before, it's probably been on live streams on Periscope, on Full-Time Fantasy. And so I've been the host of The Hot Take for 2 years. I also do some writing for GuillotineLeagues.com, Paul Charchian's new website, GuillotineLeagues.com. I don't know if you guys have ever played in the Guillotine Leagues. Pretty fun.
I have not.
I hear they're fun.
It's like hardcore style role-playing game. You know what I mean? Like an RPG. Like if you die, that's it. If you lose, if you have the lowest score in that week, you're done for the season.
Okay.
Very interesting.
I would have been bounced out pretty early based on the way my season has been going. But if you want to follow Steven, I highly recommend you do. His Twitter handle is right at the bottom of the screen at FProfessorST3. So go ahead and give him a follow, and Porkman will be back eventually. I don't know what he's got going on. Probably changing his shirt out of pure shame. So before we get into some news and notes, this is a trade question that one of our listeners sent over, and this is from Revo, is his Twitter handle, and that's at AlexReeve_97. And he says, hello, I'm in a Dynasty League 10-man, and I'm fairly stacked at wide receiver. Amari Cooper, Keenan Allen, Tyler Lockett, Deebo Samuel, Justin Jefferson, and Jalen Reagor, who I don't think is going to be back quite this week. However, I haven't got many options at running back. Who do you think are the best options to trade for? I have Miles Sanders and Melvin Gordon, and he also holds 2 2021 firsts. So that is a good question. And Porkman will be back eventually, I guess. I'm not sure what he's got going on. Haven't heard from him. So I'll tell you what, Nate, why don't we start with you on this one? Again, his wideouts are Amari Cooper, Keenan Allen, Tyler Lockett, who I think is the number 1 wide receiver on the season right now. Deebo Samuel, Justin Jefferson, and Jalen Reagor. His only 2 running backs of note, Miles Sanders and Melvin Gordon.
And one more time, just for the trade.
He's just looking for who should he trade for. And he does have 2 2021 firsts.
2 2021 firsts. You know, I would actually say James Robinson, I think, is someone to trade for. I think a lot of people are trying to sell high on him right now. Okay. He is the RB2. And it's a risk. It is a risk because who knows what the Jaguars do the rest of the season. If they, for some reason, bench Gardner Minshew, then it's all blown to shit. And who knows if James Robinson is even the running back for next year. But if he's making the push, he can probably get James Robinson for 2 seconds.
Okay.
I don't know if he's probably worth a first, if you're going for a championship, but I'm not sure if I'm willing to give a first because the next class is really good. So James Robinson is probably the first person that comes to my head, but I can probably think of another one while you guys are talking.
But before we get to that, you're saying you should honestly evaluate your team first and see if you're a playoff contender or not. If you're not in playoff contention, you don't want to throw out a first round pick on James Robinson.
If you're not in playoff contention, you shouldn't be buying a running back.
Right. If you have 2021 first, I would try to get Najee Harris.
You got 2 running
if
backs
you're out
right
of playoff
there.
contention. So I just want to say hi to our good friend Alexa. We love you too, Alexa. But Steven, do you have any thoughts on this? Who he should be trading for? Anyone off the top of your head?
Yeah, I mean, there are a lot of running backs you can trade for in the Dynasty League. Super dependent on the situation. I love the James Robinson call, especially if you're trying to win now or at least like keep afloat. And then you have the upside with Robinson of, hey, he actually could be the guy next year. And then let's play it. Let's keep going. Let's see how this thing plays out with Robinson. So that's interesting. If you're trying to win right now and you need a running back to start like this week, I think you could trade for Le'Veon Bell. In the Dynasty League, his value isn't really that high. And he's playing the Jets this week, guys. I mean, like, Le'Veon Bell is, if he's not a top 15 back this week, I'm going to be very surprised. They're going to try to get him the ball. They're going to have so much opportunity to do so, just being up in this game. So just, if you're trying to win this week, Le'Veon Bell, like a longer term situation, there's probably a lot of guys out there, guys that we're going to talk about later, but I don't want to be too hasty about that since, we're not at that point in the show.
I think I know where you're coming from. One guy that I would target Joe Mixon. Right now, he is coming off an injury. A lot of people are souring on him. So Joe Mixon's a guy, he's still young, just signed that big contract, or I don't know if it's a big contract, but it is a contract. He did sign it. So he's a guy that I think would be a good value to add to this team. Also, Ezekiel Elliott might be a guy that you could get a little cheaper right now, maybe just a little bit, just because that team is bad. Also, dear NFL, please flex something else into the Sunday night game. I'm an Eagles fan. And I don't want to watch that game on Sunday night. I don't want to see Ben DiNucci get murdered on prime time. I also don't like staying up late. So if you could hook me up. Also, real quick, because it is past Alexa's bedtime, I do know this. Redraft, what percent of fab on DJ Dallas? We are going to talk about DJ. I know I'm going to talk about DJ Dallas later. If you are in a league with some more casual players, you probably don't have to spend a lot of money on it. So, but yeah, I don't know, whatever you got to do to get them. Also, you're going to have to check Carlos Hyde's availability throughout the week. And Will is saying the Cut Nate Gary 2020 campaign has never been strong. That's right. The shirt is here. Go over to Viridian Global. Loud and proud. So, okay, great. So, Revo, hopefully that helps you. If anything else, just feel free to reach out to any one of us through Twitter DMs, and we'll be glad to answer any questions. Thank you for listening. But let's move on. Let's talk some news. I wish I had a little drop for news, but I don't. So Sean's going to come up with something for that. Thanks, Sean. Will has one other question. Separate note, do we have Dawson Knox's home address to drop him some chicken noodle soup from Tim Hortons?
I hate you, Will. He has COVID. Okay?
Yeah.
Chicken noodle soup's not going to help.
Well, okay, so when you're sick, you don't want chicken noodle soup?
Not with COVID, don't help with that.
Well, if you had COVID, what are you going to eat, pork man? A greasy bodega cheesesteak?
Hell yeah.
You will.
I won't stay very long.
Oh my God.
I'll be
all right. So let's move on. Some of the news is a little bit better than others. This time of year, it's been all bad. But Browns wide receiver Odell Beckham Jr. tears his ACL. Talk about some shit luck. Running back Nick Chubb could return after their Week 9 bye. Nate's Ravens fan, so he's loving it. Steven, what's your team? I forgot to ask you.
I proudly do not have a team.
Really?
Impressive.
Like I was, ashamed to admit it. I was a diehard Cowboys fan, and Jason Garrett and Jerry Jones, you can only take so much of that. So I was just like, you know what? I'm in this industry. I have so many, just eggs in the basket across the board. No team. I'm done. It saves me the stress on Sunday.
So you're Rob Lowe with the NFL hat. Just the NFL logo.
Yeah, pretty much, man.
but Still, I know Jerry Jones is an avid listener of this podcast, clearly. So if you could get that game unflexed for this guy, that'd be great. Because staying up late and me do not mix. And Alexa's saying roast pork from Tommy Dinnick's will help with broccoli Rob at Porkman. So there you
Yes.
go. Some roast pork.
So
All right.
I've
So
had that before, obviously.
so Eagles wide receiver Jalen Reagor has come off IR. They have activated the 21-day practice window. John Hightower is still listed as their wide receiver 1. Washington football team head coach Ron Rivera completes his last round of chemotherapy and rang the bell. That's probably the best news that I have heard all week. Porkman's thumbing down, not Ron Rivera, but John
Not
Hightower.
Ron Rivera. I'm talking about Hightower.
Don't be a jerk, Porkman. That's not cool, man. I'm going to kick you off of this
Nate.
podcast.
I was talking to Nate.
49ers running back Jeff Wilson Jr. has a high ankle sprain on my bench. I would have won that game, by the way. He will be put on IR. Wide receiver Deebo Samuel is expected to miss the next few weeks with a hamstring injury. Seattle running back Chris Carson has a midfoot sprain and is considered week to week. Andy Dalton suffers a concussion after brutal hit from linebacker John Bostic. He's in the protocol and is questionable to play versus Philadelphia. I'm going to go ahead and say I think he's out.
Wow.
I haven't heard anything, so it's Ben DiNucci season. Where's he from? I know he's a 7th round draft pick. Do you guys know where he's from?
James Madison, I think they said.
James Madison.
Madison? Okay, great.
Do you know who his backup is this week?
I actually don't, to be honest with you.
XFL quarterback Garrett Gilbert.
Really? All right.
Yes.
There we
Terrible.
go.
I think if Ben DiNucci goes out, Kellen Moore is coming on the field.
He can still swing the rock. Yeah.
Actually, it's funny that you say that. I did hear a story during Doug Peterson's first tenure with the Eagles as a coaching assistant. They actually wanted him to play quarterback in the preseason because it was only a few years after he had retired. But there's something in the contracting wording where that's not allowed, like the contracts for coaches and players. So everybody that wants Kellen Moore to come in and play, it's not going to happen, although that would be pretty cool.
Kellen Moore is a special place in my heart for all the wins he got with Boise State.
You love them Boise State boys, don't you?
Love that blue field.
Yeah, so watching John Hightower streak down that blue field and the blue uniform must have been great for you. Arizona running back Kenyon Drake suffers an ankle injury and was carted off. He's expected to miss a few weeks and could be an IR candidate. Most likely will be, I would imagine. Denver running back Philip Lindsay suffers a concussion versus Kansas City. He's in the protocol, and his status is uncertain for Week 8. Tim Patrick has a hamstring injury and is considered day-to-day. By the way, for all of you though that are asking, I did end up playing Tim Patrick over Michael Gallup last week in my Yahoo League, and it worked out for me very well. Sadly, it did. Panthers running back Christian McCaffrey has a long shot to play Thursday versus Atlanta. I'm going to say he's probably not. Head coach Matt Rule states Mike Davis will still play after his return, maybe not after last week. Teams are interested in trading. I can't talk. I apologize, people. I can't talk. Trading for tight end Evan Ingram. Jacksonville wide receiver D.D. Westbrook has torn his ACL. He's done for the season. Tampa Bay Buccaneers wide receiver Chris Godwin has a fractured finger and will miss this week. I don't know who else they're going to throw to there. Seattle running back Carlos Hyde has a hamstring tightness and is uncertain to play for Week 8. Based on who could be up next, the only thing tighter than that hamstring is Garrett Price's pants. Baltimore officially signs wide receiver Des Bryant to their practice squad, and your Week 8 buys are Arizona, Houston, Jacksonville, and the Washington football team. So that's news and notes. There's a lot of stuff. Nate, I don't know what's going on with your lighting over there, man.
I know. It's so dark over here.
So before we get into some waiver additions, why don't we talk about our bet? Nate, walk us through it.
So Freddie Swain, good old boy out of Florida. It wasn't a single game this year so far in PPR leagues that he had under 3 points. Goose egg.
Big old turd.
Nothing. I don't think he was even targeted.
Is this the first one you lost, Nate?
I think it's the second one I've lost.
It's the second one. He's usually
I was going to go under because all you guys went over, but whatever. So messed up. Well, cooking wine.
Whiskey. So Freddie Swain, I mean, I would have drank anyway, but thanks, bud. Look at that. Oh. Steven, you're the man. You weren't even in on this bet.
Oh, it's actually terrible.
Yeah, come on.
It's actually terrible.
I love it. You've been here for The bet was Freddie Swain, Seattle wide receiver, over under 2.5 points. We all took the over.
Yeah.
So
Wow, damn. Okay.
and like Nate, you had said that he had not gone under 3 points all season. You're not enjoying that wine over there at all.
I like
Your
wine too,
faith,
but
bro.
not that, man. I like
Oh,
red
man.
wine. Yeah,
Okay.
every game he's had like at least one catch for like 15 yards. So
Well, not this past week. So, do you have another bet handy, or do you want to wait a little bit?
wait, because I
Okay.
do not have one handy.
Okay, that's fine. I know you're going to find something. You're good at that. So, I usually do the Manscaped read next, but I've done a lot of talking and I'm getting tired of doing all the talking here. Porkman always makes me do the heavy lifting. So let's talk some waiver ads. Steven, you are the guest, and I know that there's someone you want to talk about. And as it turns out, it is someone that's very near and dear to this show. But I'm going to let you go first.
Oh, you're talking about Jermichael Hasty?
That is it.
Oh yeah, you got my little teaser earlier. That was good.
I'm loving it too.
Look, Tevin Coleman is the only thing that makes this kind of funky. He could come off of IR and be activated this week, and that just messes up everything. So if you need a running back this week, there's no higher than Chase Edmonds. Chase Edmonds should be the highest, but Jermichael Hasty is right there for me. And I just think that's an incredible upside of the trajectory of this season, what could take place over the next 3-4 weeks. If Coleman isn't activated, then you're looking at Jerick McKinnon and Jermichael Hasty. Hasty is on the waiver wire in most leagues still. A lot of people picked him up last week, rightfully so. A lot of people spent a lot of fab on him last week, rightfully so. If you're in a redraft league and he's there, you pick him up. And if it's just him and McKinnon, the matchup is juicy against Seattle. You play Hasty and you play him with confidence.
It's funny that here we are saying the matchup versus Seattle is juicy, because a couple of years ago we would not be saying that at all. I do have he's on one of my waiver wire ads, so his rostership percentage a little bit more available in ESPN. He's only rostered in 3.5% of ESPN leagues and 21% of Yahoo leagues, so he's out there for sure. And that again, the whole point of this show is we're not telling you that these guys are going to be week winners, but more often than not, they're going to be better than a goose egg. So you got to fill those lineups up. And like I always say to everybody, these guys, if they're on your bench and not getting you any points, that's fine, as long as they're not on someone else's starting lineup and being used against you. So just some strategy that I always play. Be active with your waiver wire ads. And you had also mentioned Chase Edmonds before. Steven, you're right. He's going to absolutely be the number one waiver wire ad. A little bit harder to get. 55.3% rostered in ESPN leagues, 63% Yahoo leagues. But week 7, 5 carries, 58 yards, no touchdowns, 7 carries, 87 yards, no touchdowns. Again, but he's the guy going forward, and he might be the guy going forward because Kenyon Drake was not having the best year.
Yeah.
Edmonds seems to fit the system really well. So, I mean, I can't talk tonight. I'm sorry. But you know what, Nate, why don't you go? Since I can't talk.
All right. So you're
Good
absolutely
Lord.
going to hate this person I'm about to bring up.
John Hightower.
No,
Damn.
you're going to hate it, Mike.
Me?
Yeah. Nelson
Me too.
Aguilar.
Listen, Nelson Aguilar has been balling out this year, and he's doing something that, for whatever reason, he couldn't do in Philadelphia, which is catch the football. Maybe it was the pressure of being a first-round pick that gets to some people. He goes to I almost said Oakland. Fuck it, Oakland. Goes to Oakland on a 1-year incentive-laden deal, prove it thing, and hey, he's proven it. So hats off to Nelson Aguilar. Thank you for a Super Bowl. You played great in 2017. I don't hate it that much, but I would like you to explain your logic behind it.
Yeah. So Nelson Aguilar, week 5 had 14.7 points in PPR, then had a bye, and then this past week against Tampa Bay, which has a good defense, but Derek Carr is out there slinging the ball. Nelson Aguilar had 21.7 points, 5 of 9 targets for 107 yards and a touchdown. He's shown some big play ability. He's the number 1 wide receiver right now. Henry Ruggs isn't getting that many targets, and Bryan Edwards is still yet to be healthy. And Hunter Renfrow just isn't getting the volume that I expected of him. So Aguilar's out there. He's the number 2 target behind Waller. He actually tied Waller for targets this past week. And he has a nice juicy matchup against the Cleveland Browns coming up this week. So I think he's wide receiver 46 on the year so far. So he's not going to be obviously someone you want as your wide receiver 1 or 2, but I think he's a great flex right now, and he's on most waiver wires because it's a name that nobody wants to touch. So, and he's proved it 2 weeks in a row, and you got to just pick him up for a week or two and see how it goes.
I like that. And also, Alexa asked before about how much fab she should spend on a player. And really, that's dependent on how much fab you have available and your team needs. So, and you don't want to spend just to spend. So that's not something that I don't think we should really get into. Is like, I would drop this much fab for this player. It's been the minimal amount possible to get a player. I'd say.
Too.
Yeah, and you never know when you're going to need that fab. I needed to dump $50 on fab and for Brashad Perriman last year for the championship game, which Slant Boy and Drew Brees blew my championship out of the water. But Porkman, while I wax poetically about second place over here, why don't you give us a waiver wire ad? And it better be good too, Porkman.
You might like it because it's from our team. Mr. Dick Rod, Richard Rodgers, balling, bro. He's as Carson likes throwing to his tight ends out there. So Richard Rodgers has been playing very, very well. I was not expecting that. Before last year, he had to have lost some weight because he looks mad slim now. He
does.
Can
He
run
actually looks really good.
He looks really, really well. He's contorting his body and makes some catches. And I believe he led the team in receiving yards this past week. So if Ertz is,
was close.
Still not coming back. Goddard is out still. I think he'll come back for another week or two.
Looks like after the bye week.
Yeah, and then we're getting Rager back. We're still gonna need that middle of the field target that Carson usually likes to use. I'm not really sure if we're getting Miles Sanders back this week. I haven't heard anything about him practicing yet. So I still think his wheels up for Richard Rodgers. I would still in a very, 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 very bleak tight end free agent streaming option. You can probably get him for pretty cheap now too.
Just real quick, go around the horn. One word answer. If you had to start one of these guys, granted that they're both healthy, Steve, we're going to start with you, Richard Rodgers or Dawson Knox.
Rodgers.
Okay, Nate.
Rodgers.
All right, I'm going to go with Rodgers. Porkman.
Starting Dawson Knox if he's healthy.
All right, Will, that was for you. I don't have his stats off the top of my head, but I tweeted, I think it was 6 catches, 85 yards, and no touchdown.
Yeah.
But that's 14.5 points off the waiver wire if you're playing full PPR. And you, for a guy that you might have spent $3 fab on, 14.5 points,
for free.
Can't beat it.
You got Richard Rodgers for free.
And, that being said, too, if Miles Sanders is out again, same team, pick up Boston Scott.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he might be. You never know. Some people drop people right away. Say, I got my week ahead of him. So, all right, Steven, let's kick it back to you now.
Yeah, if we're talking receiver, if we want to switch it over to receiver,
it could be whatever you want.
Yeah,
receiver, tight end, quarterback.
Rashard Higgins, like you said, Odell tore his ACL. Baker, we've seen him develop a chemistry with Rashard Higgins, probably more so than with Beckham. I mean, if we're being honest, it sucks that OBJ tore his ACL, but the fact that you don't have to start OBJ every week could be a blessing. It's the same thing with Kenny and Drake. If we're being like, these guys, you have to play them. It just sucks. But Rashard Higgins is very interesting. He came in and played 85% of the snaps. So he is definitely next man up. He actually played on more snaps than Jarvis Landry. And that's simply because when they go with single receiver sets, Jarvis isn't out there. He's a slot guy. So Rashard Higgins is that OBJ de facto one. So he's actually going to play more snaps than Jarvis Landry for the rest of the season. Baker just showed out last week, to my surprise. I don't believe in Baker like that. I don't like him as a quarterback or a personality.
Right.
Not trying to shit on Baker right now, but they're playing the Raiders. You can play Rashard Higgins this week. If you're in a 3-receiver league, you have to start 3 wide receivers and a flex. Yeah, Higgins is definitely in wide receiver 3 range. I would even call him closer to a wide receiver 2 this week.
I did have him on my list as well. So his week 7 was great for not being in a starting role. I'd like to see if anyone actually started this guy out of necessity or desperation. 6 catches, 110 yards, no touchdowns, but that's a hell of a week with no touchdown. So his percent rostered, ESPN is 0.5%, Yahoo is 5. Another guy that might be a hot topic, I didn't think of it till just now, Donovan Peoples-Jones. I believe didn't he have a touchdown possibly?
Yeah.
Okay, so he had a touchdown. I'm probably going to take Higgins over Donovan Peoples-Jones. Just Steven, you made a great point. The chemistry, and I did hear on a podcast, can't remember which one. Baker seems to play better without OBJ for whatever reason. Maybe he's not forcing the ball.
Way better.
I don't get it.
As soon as OBJ got hurt, it was just like it flipped a switch. He didn't have no more incompletions. It seemed like after he left, it was nuts.
That first half was bad football for Baker,
It was
man.
really, really bad. But as soon as he got hurt, it was like, all right, let's play football again. And he looked like he was unstoppable. No, he did play the Bengals, so let's see what happens this week.
This is
there's
true.
2 types of quarterbacks out there, right? The ones that come in and they lean on that number 1 receiver. They're looking at him. I think of guys that came in and just fed DeAndre Hopkins targets, and you're like, okay, what about Mitchell Trubisky and Nick Foles? Just they need Allen Robinson. Baker is that guy who wants the glory. You know what I mean? Like that's how he plays. So it might clash just a little too much with OBJ, who demands targets.
Yeah, I think it's a good point.
Not personality wise, but as in the same spreading the ball around. We see that with Justin Herbert. I mean, it's annoying how many players catch passes from Justin Herbert.
Jalen Guyton.
Parnham.
Are we picking up
Herbert
Guyton?
Green.
Because
So many players.
every couple weeks, Guyton's going off for a huge touchdown, but it's like I feel like he's that boomer bust guy that the second you pick him up and put him in your lineup, you're just going to be disappointed.
Yep.
Yeah.
He's not even like
he's not even like the de facto number 3 out there. He's kind of like I don't think they really have a solid 3 out there. Guyton has some games, but some other games it's Tyron Johnson or whoever, KJ Hill maybe sometime soon.
Joe Reed's been getting some run too last week.
Yep.
We had a touchdown last week.
Yep.
Yeah. All right, so I'm going to kick it out, and just in case, I want to get this in before Alexa goes to bed, because she likes to go to bed early. But she had mentioned DJ Dallas before, running back for the Seattle Seahawks. As we speak right now, Garrett Price's heart is bursting for joy. That is his boy right there. So he might be one of the only healthy running backs on the roster coming into Week 8. Carson's out. Carlos Hyde, hamstring tightness. Who else is there? Travis Homer, is he still there?
He's injured.
I believe
He's injured.
He's hurt too, though.
Rashad Penny, I don't know if he's available to come off. Still on the pup. Okay, so I know it might be DJ Dallas and someone that they signed from
I've heard that they likely can't even sign anybody because, at least from outside, if there's someone on the practice squad, they can sign them. But outside, because of the quarantine rules now, they wouldn't even be ready in time for the game, most likely.
Okay. So here's the thing. Week 7, he didn't have a carry. He did have 2 catches for 18 yards, no touchdowns on 3 targets. He got to play. ESPN, he's owned in 0.5% of leagues. Yahoo, 1%. So you can get him, and I would say because of how low his rostership percentage is, you don't probably have to spend a lot of fab on him. I think it's safe to say if you put a $10 fab bid on DJ Dallas, you're probably going to get him, and you might have paid too much. But sometimes you got to throw that high bid out. You know what I mean?
Well, it's more
Depends on how deep your
just
league
people
is.
not knowing who they are. Yeah, that too. It's your bench size, but the common person doesn't know who DJ Dallas is. So you can probably get him for free and keep him moving.
I'm trying to see if I can find the Seahawks practice squad. Let's see. It's a little outdated. That is really unnecessarily large. They do not appear to have a running back on their practice squad.
So fullback it is.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Nope.
I was reading
I don't see
an
one.
article from a Seahawks beat writer, just in preparation for this show, because I wanted to like just get a feel on what's going on with these running backs, because it's the same thing with the 49ers running backs. It's just really confusing and murky right now. We're going to know a lot more by Friday, obviously. But right now, you guys are so on the money with DJ Dallas. Like in a casual league, throw $2 out if you want to feel safe, and get him. But if you're in more, people that are like experienced, yeah, you're probably gonna have to throw 10, 11. It might not even be, that might be too much. Like you said, Michael, like that could be actually too much. So it's tough, man. Like if Carlos Hyde is out there on your waiver wire, I think depending on your situation, if you need to start a running back this week, you have to throw like 15% of fat out. And if he doesn't play, you got to take it, like that's how I'm looking at it. It's so murky, but if he's out there on your waiver wire and you need a guy this week, Carlos Hyde, if he plays, he's going to be the guy. I mean, there's no question. And then like you said, Michael, that's why you wasted the fab on DJ Dallas.
Yeah. It's one of those things where you might be able to find a better guy here. Jermichael Hasty might end up being a better guy. I have a couple other guys that I want to talk about too. But Nate, let's kick it over to you.
Yeah, so I actually want to bring up a dynasty stash.
Okay.
Off the waiver wire. Albert O. Albert O is looking good. He has the tight end 2 position for the Broncos right now. And Fant hasn't looked great. I don't expect that to continue. Noah Fant's a really good player. But with Cortland Sutton out, Jerry Jeudy and KJ Hamler just not really on the same page with Drew Lock. That whole offense just having trouble in the passing game. Drew Lock's really relied on passing to his tight ends. Noah Fant has a ton of targets. Albert O has 13 targets in the past 2 weeks. And that's eighth best in the past 2 weeks.
Let me see if I can go pick him up right now in a dynasty league.
So, and I
I'm
think
see if he's out there.
If it's not tight end premium, I think most tight end premium leagues he's probably already been picked up. But in other leagues, I think he should be out there. If he was picked, he would have been like a 5th round pick probably. And he's so athletic. He ran a 4.4. He was Drew Lock's teammate in college. The connection's already there. And they need someone to throw the ball to who's going to catch it and make something happen. And I don't think that offense is going to be as bad as they've been the last 2 weeks. They played some really good defenses. So I think Albert O is a great pickup. He's a sneaky stash. He's definitely one to grab, I think. I think they're going to use a lot of 2 tight end sets, much like the Eagles.
Nate, to your point, real quick, I mean, Drew Lock, like that chemistry is already there. And we're already getting to see his tendencies. He likes big receivers, and Tim Patrick is one of them because Cortland Sutton isn't there. He liked throwing to Sutton before. Tim Patrick is there. Now Tim Patrick might be injured this week. So using those 2 tight ends is going to be more crucial than ever this week for Drew Lock.
Don't say that. Come
necessary at this point.
I think Albert O could be a good DFS play this week.
Yeah, he can get you a touchdown for cheap.
All right, so I got him in. I put him waiver claims on 2 leagues so far, but it looks like he's rostered already in this one. So let me just do one more. I'll get back to you here.
Yeah, I'm a big Alberto fan. Like, especially when Noah Fant was out. Like, say for instance, if Fant gets hurt again and it's a serious injury, Albert O might be an every week start just because of that camaraderie with Drew Lock. So
yeah, and if that offense starts getting clicking, then with their current wide receiver situation, we could even see something similar to what the Eagles did last year with Dallas Goedert and Zach Ertz, with both of them being fantasy relevant.
Time, real quick. I beat Garrett in the Dynasty Rewind Dynasty League last week. I just want to say that. Oh, thank you, Justin Herbert, and your 41.95 points. Would you like to know my starting lineup in that league? It's disgusting. Justin Herbert, LaMichael Pirine, Latavius Murray, DJ Chark, Marvin Jones, Jay Sternberger, Corey Davis, Mike Williams, Joe Schobert, Micah Kaiser, and Jay Myers. What's that?
I scored. How many points did you score?
128.85. And where did Garrett get let down? Oh my God, this is the most on brand Garrett team ever. Do you want to hear Garrett's team? This is great.
I bet I can tell it to you.
Whiteside.
Jared Goff, Giovanni Bernard, because he had to pivot from Mixon. Todd Gurley, although his running backs did really well, about 42 points between his two running backs. So Darius Slayton, Allen Robinson, Hunter Henry, Josh Jacobs, Robert Woods, and then Myles Garrett, Danny Trevathan, and Matt Prater. So I think that's the first time I've beaten Garrett in a while now. So sorry, I was really, really happy about that. Ooh, someone sent me a trade.
We did beat him in Dynasty Owner, so
that's true. He is going to come on and do his 2 shots, by the way. It just depends on when he's free. Obviously, Tuesday night he records with Dynasty Nerds. So can't be. Yeah, make the waiver claim. Stop.
Why are you yelling at your team?
Sean wants an Albert O bet.
Sean wants an Albert O bet. Well, that's up to you, Nate. You're the guy that's making all the bets. Now, here's the only problem, Nate. I was thinking about this. You're not going to be on Friday. You're not going to be on Tuesday.
Nope.
So how do you want to do this? Do we hold it over till the next time you're on?
Well, I'm not going to lose, so it shouldn't really matter.
Okay. All right. That's fine. Well, then you think of something and get back to us.
If I lose, I'll take a video and send it to you, or I'll pop one for literally just take my shot. So
that's fine. That's okay.
So,
all right, Porkman, I believe it is back to you.
This is gross. If you need a warm body at running back due to bye weeks and there's nothing there, Wayne Gallman looked okay last week. I know it was throwing up. Devontae Freeman is hurt. Actually, when Wayne Gallman came in the game, he actually didn't look that bad. I mean, it's Wayne Gallman. If you need to play him, you can put him in. I just want to get your thoughts on that because Wayne Gallman is clearly not good. But if he's starting and he's getting some volume and Daniel Jones keeps fumbling, they got to at least run the ball with somebody. You can probably put him in just for a bye week fill-in.
Porkman, I don't want to be a jerk, but if Daniel Jones is fumbling, they're not on offense anymore.
I understand that, but if he recovers the fumble, they're going to run the ball in the next play, you goofball.
I don't know how you guys feel. I'll just say real quick. I'd probably look elsewhere.
No, I'm saying if there's no other way elsewhere, that's what I'm saying. Like there's nobody else there. Like if Hasty, like after the waivers, Hasty's gone.
Gus Edwards. Give me Gus Edwards.
Oh.
You know I love me some Gus Edwards. Look at his snap count.
You want to do a Gus Edwards? You want to do a Gus Edwards Wayne Gallman bet?
I'll do a Gus Edwards Wayne Gallman bet, and I'll do an Alberto bet too. I will throw my leathery old liver right out the window. I don't care to prove a point. You know how spiteful I am. Steven's going to come on and do shots with us. It's going to be fantastic.
Oh yeah, I'm down.
Well, Nate's going to think of some bets, but I would look. If there's better options out there, I would look elsewhere. Steven, Nate, I don't know how you guys feel about this. Would you feel good about starting Wayne Gallman?
It just, I mean, the matchup sucks. It's against the Buccaneers, who's, they're great against the run. I mean, that front seven is actually ridiculous.
It is ridiculous.
But no, you're right, Portman. Like, if you don't want to risk it with Carlos Hyde, you don't know what's going on with these situations, you get Wayne Gallman for free. And if Devontae Freeman doesn't play, you have a volume play that can get you 8 to 10 points. That's what you have. And if he gets in for a score, he just falls in the end zone. Great. I mean, like you said, he came in, he looked good. He probably looked better than Devontae Freeman, if I'm being honest.
He looked way better than Devontae Freeman.
Yeah. So, I mean, who knows? Maybe they'll rest Freeman. You could probably, that's maybe not like a Tuesday night ad. Maybe that's like a Thursday ad when he's still on the waivers and, Devontae Freeman just isn't trending in the right direction. Yeah. Pick up Gallman if you need, desperation play. I don't think it's terrible. I have him on my list. I was gonna maybe bring him up too.
Yeah, because I was like, don't use your waiver priority on him. If you use waiver priority, like you can probably honestly wait until Sunday morning to see how the landscape is going, and if everybody is going, and if you didn't get your guys, Wayne Gallman is there.
Yep. If you have deep benches, I'm really hoping that Wayne Gallman ends up, outplaying Freeman the rest of the season. I hope that the Giants just go ahead and say, why do we even have Freeman at this point? Just give the ball to Gallman, whatever. Because after the Buccaneers, this is the schedule for the Giants: Washington, Eagles, Bengals, Seahawks, Cardinals. So, like, Gallman being the little pass catching back he is, if he started getting more snaps than Freeman those next 5 weeks, he could be a very good flex play in PPR leagues. Very solid for something you're going to get for free. So, I mean, you're taking a risk because Freeman might come back and might be the starter right away, like before. But if you have a deeper bench, I think it might be worth just picking him up with a $0 claim and hoping that he becomes a starter.
Do you guys think that starting Wayne Gallman like kind of feels dirty?
Oh no, it feels dirty. I didn't say that.
You know what else
It's
smells
definitely
dirty?
dirty. It's gross.
Leaves. But
Balls.
don't worry, autumn is in the air and Manscaped is here to ensure you don't carve your pumpkins when you're grooming. By pumpkins, we actually mean your boys downstairs. In fact, Manscaped is on a mission to change the way you approach caring for your balls. And great news, they just released their products in the UK, Canada, and Australia. Did you see that segue? That was fantastic. Let's not forget about it. It's the best trimmer for your butt, balls, and body. By the way, Manscaped, your trimmer is fantastic. Really need a beard trimmer from you guys because mine's starting to die. And if anything you make works as good up here as it does down there, I'm buying one. The Lawnmower 3.0 trimmer offers a replaceable ceramic blade with advanced skin-safe technology, which helps reduce grooming accidents. Who's having grooming accidents? Be careful. Come on. Their new Weed Whacker ear and nose hair trimmer uses the same skin-safe technology when you're trimming those delicate nose hairs of yours, which sucks, by the way. The crop care kit includes the Crop Preserver ball deodorant. Everyone knows pumpkin spice lattes and ball deodorant go hand in hand. Roughly. Crop cleanser body wash, a full body wash that you can also use on your hair. Crop mop ball wipes. You never know when an opportunity strikes, so you should always be prepared. Plus, you don't want to stink when you sit around that Thanksgiving dinner. I kind of do because then people don't come back over. But that's just kind of Mike's trick of the trade right there. If you suffer from stank foot, Phil, or stand on your feet all day, then I have a product for you, the Foot Duster Foot Deodorant, which is a free gift. The cooling tea tree oil offers a pleasant experience for the stankiest feet and allows you to take your shoes off in confidence. I'm done saying stank, don't worry. The Manscaped Refined Cologne is a cost-effective way to smell clean and fresh for your date. Crop Cleanser Hair and Body Wash was designed with aloe vera and sea salt to leave your skin clean, fresh, moisturized, and reinvigorated. Hey, guess what? These formulations are all vegan, cruelty-free, unlike me reading this, dye-free, sulfate-free, and paraben-free. I don't even know what a paraben is, so you know your manhood is in good hands. So you can get 20% off from free shipping using the code at bottom of the screen. Steven just ordered 3 bundle kits. Get 20% off using the promo code PORK20 at manscaped.com. That's how you know that we sent you. We do appreciate Manscaped just re-upped with us. So thanks to everybody that has been buying and supporting this podcast. Honestly, every viewer, every listener. I can't speak for everybody else. I think I can actually. I love you all. Thank you again so much for taking the time out of your evening, your weekend, whatever it may be, and hanging out with us. So again, head on over to manscaped.com, promo code PORK20, all caps, and then 2 numbers. So that's great. That was a lot of stuff. So you feel dirty starting... What?
Why does my feet have to stink, Mike?
Because you walk around delivering water all day.
Okay, but that hurts. Just kidding. My feet does stink, but
Yeah.
still,
My feet stink too. Yeah, that hurts. The truth hurts is what you're basically saying.
Mike,
Can
I just give a quick shout out to
of course
the most comfortable hoodies ever?
Oh,
beautiful. So
super comfy.
I picked the right one, is what you're saying, out of the 2 that she gave me.
Oh yeah, just got mine in this afternoon. I was so excited. It fits great, so soft, looks great. No complaints here.
Much better than the trial run we had made last year. Porkbean, you'll be getting yours soon, and also whoever's getting theirs, please tag us. Want to make sure you like it. If there's any concerns, please reach out to me. Do the best I can to make sure that everybody is made happy. Couple more running backs. I don't know. Hey, question. So apparently Mike Evans might be a hot waiver wire ad, as some people are saying that you could drop him, but he's only available. He's rostered in 99.5% of ESPN leagues and 99% of Yahoo leagues. So it's a little tough to get him. But he might see an uptick with this Chris Godwin guy out. So, Steven, I'll fill you in after the show. I'm just going to run through a few real quick, and then I'm going to let you guys close it out. Royce Freeman
Oh.
could be a decent deep stash if you need somebody. Didn't do hardly anything in week 7, but 1.6% of ESPN leagues, 1% of Yahoo leagues. So he's out there, especially if Philip Lindsay misses time. They like to use 2 backs out there in Denver from what I could see. And I would like to say, I'm going to kick it back to you guys then. LaMichael Pirine in week 7, first touchdown, 11 carries, 39 yards, 1 touchdown, 2 catches, 16 yards. He's rostered in 11.3% of ESPN leagues and 16% of Yahoo leagues. So he got the same amount of carries as the ageless wonder Frank Gore last week. Hopefully that's trending in the right direction. We're all big LaMichael Pirine fans. Steven, I don't know how you feel about LaMichael Pirine. You should be a fan because he's fantastic.
Oh, man. Here's what I'll say.
Oh, my God.
How do you feel? How do you feel if you're LaMichael Pirine and you get the same amount of carries as Frank Gore and he nearly doubles your production? It's like, how would you like? You're like trying your best here. You're an NFL player. You're doing your best just to like get on the field, and you finally get your opportunity. And this 70-year-old man is out producing you. I mean, come on. Look, again, we're talking about like if you need a spot start this week, LaMichael Pirine, yeah, you're gonna get carries. You know, you'll get a non-zero score. And Buffalo can be like, you know, they can be gashed. Actually, we've seen them be gashed on the ground. It's not a bad matchup. So yeah, you know, look, he got 70% of the snaps last week. He at least snapped Frank Gore.
I believe
Yeah.
the Jets play the Chiefs this week. So I'm hoping that, well, they're going to be behind. We know that. So I'm hoping that Pirine just gets the majority of the passing snaps. And if Pirine just gets the majority of the passing snaps in PPR leagues, Pirine could be good for double-digit points, which he got this week. He did get this week because of a touchdown. But
yeah, he got it. Yeah. I mean,
11
Kansas
points
City
like
is another team that gives up a lot to the running back. So
there you go. So I'm right.
So Pirine's a must start.
Yes, especially if I own him because I have no other choices.
RB1 this week. Greasy take.
There you go. Porkman's going to do his greasy.
I need to drink more. If LaMichael Pirine's an RB1, I need to drink more.
I mean, hey, listen, it's 2020, dude.
That's your greasy take, dude. That's not mine.
I'll tell you what, man. It's 2020. I'm just happy we have football. If LaMichael Pirine does finish as a running back 1 on the season, man, whatever. I don't care. Just give me that football. I need it. So, hey, the good news is next year we get an extra week of football because they're extending the season a week.
That's right.
So
and
it's
preseason. Love
true.
Preseason.
Hey, is it this year that they have the extra playoff team, or is that next year? All right, great. So we're gonna have to keep this waiver wire thing going for a while. Then think about it. Actually, we should probably discuss that. We probably shouldn't discuss it right now. So, but keep tuning in every Tuesday. Somebody else, give me a waiver wire ad. Steven, let's go back. Do you have anybody else on your list? You could just run through as many people as you want. Just talk about whatever you want, man. That's fine. We're just here having fun.
I appreciate it. I really appreciate it, man. Yeah. Like, look, Mark Ingram, like he's actually available. Pick him up. You want to play him, if it's between him and Pirine, I don't even know, actually. I might actually play Pirine over Mark Ingram. He's just on my list here because I saw him available in a couple leagues. It's just like I think he should be rostered. So that's kind of more of a let's see what happens approach still with the Ravens offense. It's a bad matchup this week with Pittsburgh. A little deeper on the receivers, Marcus Johnson, 100 yards last week. He is a guy who has kind of floated around the NFL for a little while. T.Y. Hilton just isn't producing. Phillip Rivers is trying to find people to get involved here. Trey Burton is one of those guys, another guy who is on a lot of waiver wires. So pick up Trey Burton, and you can actually start him.
Say that again. Say that again.
Pick up Trey Burton, and you can actually start him. But
thank you.
Marcus Johnson is very interesting. He's playing on over 60% of snaps as of last week. As far as the pecking order, he is the third receiver on the Colts. But again, we talk about tendencies of quarterbacks. T.Y. Hilton just isn't getting separation. Phillip Rivers needs that, and you got Marcus Johnson who can actually fly. So he's a deeper ad for sure. I think on a dynasty roster where you have a big roster, throw him on your bench. You're probably not going to start him. Just kind of see what happens with that wide receiver situation with the Colts.
Mhm.
Okay. Hey, quick question here. Did I say this before?
No.
All right. So
No.
Mile High Hot wants to know projected Le'Veon PPR points against the Jets. Will Andy Reid let him attack? Good question.
I don't know.
Andy Reid's not really the revenge guy that
No,
I recall anyway.
I think
I mean, yeah, I think
Yeah,
if they get ahead, he'll play a lot.
if they get ahead, though, wouldn't they want to use their young running back and keep their old running back fresh?
They could put Darrell Williams or Darwin Thompson in too to keep their 1-2 punch fresh for the playoffs too.
That's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking they're going to get ahead quick. Le'Veon Bell's not going to get a lot of work. He might get some work in the beginning of the game, but I mean, why have Le'Veon Bell in there in the second half? I mean, if they're up by 3-4 touchdowns,
Yeah.
I mean, Le'Veon Bell looked good last week, but he's looked terrible for 2 years. So
Well,
give him rest and let him just continue to be
He looked-
healthy and fresh.
he looked terrible because of Gase, though. Let's be real.
Well,
Who doesn't?
Come on. Yeah, you know what? Put this a thought in your head. If fill out a ratty DFS lineup and put Chad Henne in as your quarterback.
Ew.
I'm just saying, like, if they go up big, you know what I mean? The dude plays an entire half. He did get a rushing touchdown last week. Just saying.
There's not
Just
enough
saying.
discount on backup quarterbacks.
That's not right. That's not enough.
I'm gonna do it.
Don't
I'll take that advice.
I'm gonna do it.
Chad
I'm gonna do
Penne
it.
pasta. It's terrible.
There you go. So I don't know.
When did he become a read option runner, by the way? That
He
caught
wants
me
a-
off guard.
he
He
wants
did
a
like
job.
twice.
So Mile High Hot. I'm sorry, I don't know if we could answer this very good. Anywhere he could go anywhere from like between 6 to like 18. Really, I don't know if 8 sounds about
Maybe a
right.
touchdown. So if he gets a touchdown, maybe like 12, 14.
12.
Yeah.
Right.
It's really hard to say.
Yeah, I think he's going to be involved really highly in the first half. You guys are on the money that in the second half, why would they use them? They're going to be up. I mean, there's no, like, I can't fathom a situation where they're not up, at least 10 points going into the second half. But I think on those first few series, they're going to use a lot of Le'Veon. He does get into the end zone, in my opinion. Yeah. So I think 6 to 18, like that, I like that. I think that floor is like right there. And then, 18 is probably his ceiling because he's not going to play a lot in like the fourth quarter, let's say. But I do think he gets into the end zone. And I think that he'll be used in the passing game just a little bit in this week.
So Mitch is checking in. Mitch is an awesome listener of ours. He wants to know Le'Veon Bell or Randall Cobb and a 2022 third in Dynasty.
I'm taking Lev Bell.
Yeah.
Just because
think so.
running backs are sparse. So if you can get a running back that has a 6 to 18 point range, the 6-point floor with that upside. I mean, you want anyone on the Chiefs offense, and you can get better for Lev Bell, I think, by the end of the season.
Okay. Sean has a question. Redraft, is it worth holding Ingram and Dobbins, waiting to see if someone takes the lion's share? Someone already has. Gus Edwards. But Nate, you are the resident Ravens fan here. Do you want to take this one?
Not really. I don't know anything more than you guys know.
Yeah,
I mean, the Ravens they don't care about fantasy football. They
do
want to
not.
win games.
They don't.
And they put Mark Ingram in. They put Gus Edwards in. They put J.K. Dobbins sometimes in. I mean, they just are trying to win games, and then they get really far ahead. And when they're up ahead, they just play Gus Edwards because why risk your rookie running back with the future, and why risk your veteran? So if they get ahead, it's Gus Edwards' show. If they're behind, it's the J.K. Dobbins show, and if it's in the middle, it's the Mark Ingram show.
You don't know.
So you just have to guess the game script, I guess. But even when they get ahead or get behind, I mean, you never really know. So you're just throwing a dart, honestly.
Okay.
It's rough. I don't really want to play any of them in a redraft right now.
Yeah, it is pretty rough. So there you go, Sean. We don't know. You know as much as we do. Does anyone else have any other waiver wire ads?
I have a do not add waiver wire ad.
Yeah,
People-
you know what? We always, when we do starts and sits, we always talk about starts and not sits. So, yeah, if there's anyone you want to steer away from, that's fine too. Go ahead, Pork.
Can you people please not pick up Ben DiNucci if he has to start? He's going to get killed on Sunday night if they don't, if they don't flex it. He is not good at all. He made one good pass, I believe, to Amari Cooper, and then after everything else, it was really, 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 really bad. So yeah, I mean, if you're Italian and you like the Benvenuti, you can probably pick him up and go for it, but don't do it, please, please.
Okay, so you heard it here first, everybody.
Killed.
Ben DiNucci will get killed as per Porkman. You put a T at the end. I'm sorry, you did.
Killed. You get killed.
Killed.
That's worse than killed. It's
Oh,
killed.
okay.
Yeah,
All
that's
right.
much worse than kill.
Well,
much,
hey,
much worse.
the more you know. That's great. Nate, do you have any bets for us yet?
I do. So
Bring
since
it.
I won't be here Friday, so I got to give you the Sunday bet as well.
Okay.
So for Thursday night, it's the Falcons versus the Panthers, I believe. Correct.
Yuck.
And I'm gonna go
So
with
you want to do them both right away?
yeah.
Okay.
So for that game, I'm gonna be looking at Brian Hill
Oh boy.
over under 6 fantasy points.
Mm.
I'm going to take the over.
Take the over. Porkman.
I'll take the under.
All right, Steven, you want in?
Is this PPR?
Yes, PPR.
I'll go over.
All right. I am also going to go over. And I will say, let's see. I'll give you his PPR finishes the past rest of the season so far. Week 1 against the Seattle Seahawks, 4. Dallas, 4.5. Chicago, 15. Green Bay, 4.3. Carolina, 7.4. 2.4. Detroit, 6. So it's basically 50-50 if he goes over under 6.
Okay.
And then for my Sunday bet, I got, because Sean asked, Alberto going up against the Los Angeles Chargers, over under 8.
Oh, so that's just a touchdown, pretty much.
I'm going to take the under.
All right. Porkman.
I'm gonna take the over.
All right. Steven.
I'm gonna take the over.
I'm going to take the over as well.
Damn it. Damn it.
Tim Patrick might not play, and then who is Drew Lock throwing to? Like,
My God,
Right.
I forgot about Tim Patrick.
Good job, Mike. It's
Yeah,
already
well.
concrete. It's written in
Okay.
stone.
I'll do shots. I don't care. Whatever. So we could always just square everything up then when you come back Friday if you want, Nate.
We'll figure
That
it out.
works.
Like I
Yeah.
said, I won't have to take any shots, so you guys can do it.
Okay. Perfect. Love it. I do have one more guy. Actually, he's out there. Cole Beasley has been putting up some pretty good
Yep.
stats. Week 5, 6 for 53, no touchdowns. Week 6 for 4 for 45 and a touchdown. In week 7, 11 catches, 112 yards, no touchdowns, but 22.2 points, full PPR. You're not complaining. He's available 41.8% of ESPN leagues and 41% of Yahoo leagues. So I did pick him up in my Yahoo league. He's out there. Go grab him. Can be cheap. Does anyone have anybody else or anything else that they would like to add to this waiver wire show?
In Dynasty Fantasy Football, if you haven't already picked up Marquez Callaway, please do so.
Mhm.
Okay.
Right.
And in case people do not know who Marquez Callaway is, who is he?
So he is a receiver for the Saints. He came into this season being the 5th wide receiver on the Saints after Michael Thomas, Emmanuel Sanders, Traquan Smith, Deontay Harris, and then it was Callaway. And Michael Thomas hasn't played. Emmanuel Sanders is on the COVID list. Traquan Smith is
Traquan
teased us with a breakout and then done his usual thing of not showing up. And then Deontay Harris was hurt and then has come back. But in his time that he missed, Marquez Callaway has looked really good. He was very productive in college. I believe he went to Tennessee. And he's just got a lot of talent. And He looked good on Sunday. He had some flashes the week before. As long as Michael Thomas and Sanders are out, Marquez Callaway is going to get targets and he's going to produce because he gets down the field. He can make plays happen with the ball in his hands. He's definitely a pickup in dynasty leagues and in redraft. I probably wouldn't pick him up, but if Michael Thomas and Sanders are still out coming up this next week, then he might be a nice flex play.
Okay, great, perfect, Nate, love it. That's it. If no one has anything else, we're gonna sign it off here right at about an hour. Thank you everybody for watching. Love doing the Waiver Wire show. It is a lot of fun. I know we have a good time. Hopefully you guys have a good time watching and watching later on. And if we're right, tell us. If we're wrong, don't. But Steven, thank you again for coming on and hanging out with us. You are welcome back anytime. But until then, why don't you tell everyone where we could find you and what you do?
Yeah, appreciate it. Find me on Twitter at FFProfessorSD3. Always willing to answer questions. And then, of course, every week I'm putting out an article on guillotineleagues.com. Check out my positional rankings. I've been going with the defense recently. So if you need streaming defenses, you can come check out my top 15 every week.
Whoever's playing the Jets, you can stream them. As of right now, that's pretty much it. Porkman, where can we find you on Twitter?
You could find me at FF Porkman.
Okay. And Nate, how about yourself?
You can find me at Nate NFL.
Okay, and I promise you, his takes are not as generic as his name. Oh, come on, you know you love it. So Nate will not be with us Friday and Tuesday, but you will be back next Friday, correct?
Yep.
Okay, great. So we will see you in 10 days, or I don't math well, but until then, everybody, you can find me on Twitter at DMBauer85. Just follow the show at Dynasty Rewind. Subscribe, rate, review, buy merch. DM me. I'll get you set up. But until Friday, everybody, be kind, please rewind. Thanks for watching. We'll see you then.